What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, I know it's been about 4 or 5 days since my last post, and that is of course because, as many of you do know, I am an MMA fighter, and I had a fight this weekend. Of course, if you do follow my Twitter, you can see we did go in there and we did pull off the win. It was a super good one. It's probably my best performance yet. I look okay for having just been in a fist fight. My couple things are a little messed up, my knee, my foot, my hand, whatever, but other than that, nothing too severe. So we are back, and we are back to work. So in today's video though, we are going to be talking about Solana. I always update you guys on Solana. It's one of my favorite cryptos. I think it has some of the best price action, and I think it's in a position to see some amazing growth. And so for that reason, you guys love it, I love it, I make videos about it. So looking at it today, what we can see is that we have been on quite the downtrend realistically over the last about week or so. Now, I do believe that this has been majorly influenced by Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin has been going down, so has the rest of the market. But considering the fact that Bitcoin is approaching a key level of support, and it does seem as if we may get a bounce relatively soon here, I do think we are still in a position to see Solana seeing pretty strong growth, the higher low established, and a continuation towards the upside. Now, last video, I told you guys that I was going to be doing a little bit of accumulating around this $117-ish area, around this previous macro high here. I did go ahead and make that purchase, and although we are down on that purchase right now, I am still pretty confident in the trading strategy in which we have implemented. And so in today's video, I'll tell you guys what my next step is, and what I am expecting. So looking at Solana, what we can see is that as Bitcoin approaches this key level of support, Solana is also approaching a key level of support as well. Now, what that's going to be is this macro level of resistance and support sitting right around 101, realistically just $100. Now, obviously $100 is an extreme psychological level, but it has served as very important on both sides very recently. As you can see, we've come up to it, we've bounced up to it and failed, bounced up to it and failed, bounced up to it and failed, but once we finally cleared it, we put in a new higher high on a regional based perspective, and now we do seem to be coming back towards it to back test it. So considering the fact that we did see such a strong layer of resistance here, I would be pretty surprised if we don't see this serve as a strong level of support as well. And again, considering the fact that we do see this major support establishment possibly happening as Bitcoin retests towards its own major level of support, this ascending level of support here, again, I do think that we could very possibly be seeing a bounce or some type of short-term bottom here as the price does retrace. Now, remember, I told you guys that I am buying on these key support levels. I just do believe that they are good purchases, and I think Solana is in a position at any given point to see a strong bounce towards the upside. Remember, we have gone up to officially set the higher high. This was our previous high. Now we set the higher high. So considering that fact, now what we need to do is set the higher low. And we've been talking about this, right? Ever since we started to run towards the upside, when Solana got completely overextended outside of its Bollinger Bands, I told you guys, I said, hey, we're too extended right now. There is a strong chance with the RSI already reaching this quote unquote overbought territory that we could see a pull towards the 50 or even the mid 40s on the RSI, and we need to be prepared to not only be buying as dollar cost averaging on the way up, but lowering that average if we do get that retracement and a healthy correction, because that is exactly what this is. We can't see the price realistically get as extended as it was and not correct. That's just what it does. We can see all the time, right? We can see back here. We went our way up, we saw a short-term correction. We went up, we saw a long-term correction before eventually setting the new all-time high again. That's just what it does, okay? And I think this is very important. Do remember that whenever we see the price starting to move, the longevity of these moves towards the upsides are dependent on the amount of healthy corrections we see. That's just my opinion. Realistically, whenever we see these moves like this is a little bit not sustainable. This much more sustainable, because it gives the bulls an opportunity to calm down, relax. It gives the bears the opportunity to start shorting it. And then what happens is whenever the bulls start to step back in the market, those bears get liquidated, and that provides even more power to the bulls to allow the price to continue towards the upside. Whereas when the price does continue up like this, realistically, those bears are going to start to slow the bulls' momentum down. Slowly but surely, that RSI is going to start to kind of turn like that. And the next thing you know, we see the stronger correction towards the downside. We see things of this nature all the time. We can look at something like Bitcoin for reference to look at what happened back here. This is a beautiful example of what a reset looks like, a calm down that doesn't have a huge negative macro impact. As you guys can see, after the big flu dump that happened back here, we saw the price just absolutely race towards the upside, with this big move right here sending it directly into this quote unquote overbought territory. But from there, as we did hit this spot, as we did start to kind of consolidate and then pull back towards the downside to set the higher low, we saw this complete reset on the RSI. We saw this bullish divergence forming, in which we saw the lower low and the higher low. And then from there, we were really capable of seeing this takeoff in the price. I don't think that this is anything different. And the only way that I will be convinced is obviously if we come back to set, a very big lower low, which looks like us falling all the way back below $75, which just in this environment, I don't really see happening. Okay. So my current game plan is to be buying around $101. I think that this is a fantastic range. Not only is $101 a strong psychological level, not only is it a strong level in terms of resistance and support, but if we do pull up our Fibonacci's, that is the beginning of our macro Fibonacci zone, sitting right around $98 here. You guys know that this is the golden zone. This is where a price is most likely to bounce off of it if it is going to. And so considering the fact that this is also well within that range, about $98 to $101, I will be accumulating here as well and looking for the price to start to see a pretty strong bounce, especially again if Bitcoin is capable of seeing that strong bounce towards the upside here as well. These times in which we are seeing the market seemingly entering back into a bullish momentum, but we do have these big days of correction and capitulation, I find those to be the best days for accumulating. Even if it is a short-term trade in which the price does this, we can start to consider taking profits on a shorter-term trade here if necessary. But realistically, I am still under the belief that we are going to see the price of cryptos continue towards the top side, and all we're doing right now is coming back to set the higher low and then continue towards the top side. Whether it be here or whether it be about $88, I don't really care too much. I just want to accumulate at levels that the price is the most likely to be able to bounce off of and then continue towards the upside. That's my game plan, that's my strategy, and that is how I am going about it. So in today's video, I really just wanted to say that I think that this is normal, and I think that this is very healthy and necessary for the prices of cryptos to really see growth. Do pay attention to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does lose this key level of support here, I would say maybe starting to hold off on some purchases and start to really look to see, does it hold support around that $40,000 area on its macro Fibonacci? But considering the fact that we are entering into this macro Fibonacci zone now, if we were to lose say like 39,800, then that would be kind of concerning, as we would likely start to come back towards 37. But while we are still above this key level and while we are still interacting with such strong levels of support, I am still pretty confident in the market. And if that does change, I will of course let you guys know as soon as possible. But with that said, that's going to be about it for today's video. Just wanted to let you know I will be purchasing around $101 to $98 in that range. I do think would be pretty justifiable, and that as long as we are above about roughly 88 cents, I'm really not all too concerned with this pullback in which we are seeing, because I do think it's healthy. Now, I did want to let you guys know that whenever I do these purchases, I will be doing them all on iTrust Capital. It's something that I used to mention a lot to you guys, and I think you guys finally do start to understand the importance of being able to take profits in a tax-free manner. This is a tax-free trading account. Of course, it's something like a retirement account, so you should definitely just check out the benefits. Go over here, press open an account. It's going to ask you to fill in like 4 blanks. They're going to send you an email, verify your email, and then you can see all of the options in which could save you thousands, if not even hundreds of thousands of dollars one day if this market does move as we anticipate. So with that said, of course, that is going to also be about it for today's video, and I will see you all next time in the next one. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.